Beliefs and values are integral to how American society has operated and changed over time. Belief in gender equality and the value of equal education and employment massively opened up opportunities for women in American society. Anti-alcohol sentiment and values that were rising in the late 1910s led to the Prohibition movement in 1920. However, beliefs and values have also caused problems in American society. Racism, which has been involved in American society for over 200 years, has caused segregation, slavery. This idea of beliefs and values is the main contributor to what we will be talking about today, cults. More specifically, the cult titled 764.
When exploring anything, what you first want to look at is its origin, what sparked its creation, and what shaped its actions. We first zoom in on a relatively small town, Stevensville, Texas. The year is 2020, and the US was facing the global pandemic of COVID-19. With the pandemic, people were spending much more time at home, separated from one another. This caused a rise in the gaming communities with the revival of games such as Minecraft and Roblox, gaining a much wider audience. With this development came the need for communication to play with friends. That's where Discord comes in. It is essentially just an online form of communication with messages, video, and audio calls used mainly for communication for gaming. This is where we focus in on a certain someone in the town of Stevensville. His name is Bradley Cadenhead. He's 15 years old at this time. Before the pandemic, he was a victim of bullying in high school, and he felt extremely lonely. To combat these feelings, he tried to cope through exploration into obscure and strange online spaces, going by the name Felix. In these online spaces, he was exposed to an online sextortion network called CVLT, which coerced children into performing sexual acts on camera. While playing Minecraft, he met someone who still remains unknown to this day, who actually helped him and truly inspired him into valuing violence and destruction, endorsing a belief that life is meaningless and that it should take down the structure of society through violence. Both these factors culminated into Bradley Cadenhead officially creating what he called 764.
764. This cult rejected all types of social and moral standard societal values. Their goal was to bring a collapse to society. Believing there was no value in human life, they used violence less of a tool for their political and societal goals, but rather as a sick form of entertainment. The group was composed predominantly of minors who identify victims through games. The perfect example of this is a man known as White Tiger. When operating as a part of 764 organization, he was 16 to 19 years old, being accused of committing over 200 crimes and against 30 children/teenagers. He would groom children ages 11 to 15, gaining a sense of trust in the child's young developing mind and coerced them into committing acts of physical self-harm. He made them emotionally dependent on him and exploited a manufactured connection to force many children to create child pornography and in many cases convince them to commit suicide. White Tiger illustrates the exact behavior and methods that all the members of 764 would do in an attempt to fulfill their goal. These behaviors and actions from members were all deliberate, all following guides and handbooks.
These guides and handbooks gave them direct instruction on how to find, coerce, and extort their targets. There were 238-page sextortion manuals that taught members the best methods to gain images and money from targets. These guides encouraged going after young people the moment they gained access to online social media and video games, with the idea that the younger and more experienced they are, the easier it is to manipulate them. Recommending the target be 14 or younger, preying on naivety, vulnerability, and a lack of digital literacy. An extra bonus for the members would be mental health problems. They saw that as an extra way of manipulation for the target. When interacting with children that struggle, they would use that as a way to relate further, strengthen a bond, and then further manipulate. Another method described in these books to form connections with a target was faking romantic interest. Members would go into games and identify people who fit the requirements described earlier. Then, they would feign interest in the target in an attempt to get them to want to share private and personal information while establishing a bond with the target. They would then lure their targets into clicking on links to enter either Discord or Telegram messaging. These links would have IP loggers, which when clicked would give the sender of the link loads of information, such as the target's IP address, home address, phone number, essentially a person's entire digital footprint. They would then basically blackmail the target, threatening to SWAT, dox, or DDoS them, forcing the target to commit acts of self-harm and extort sexual videos out of the target. Now, these actions with the IP logger don't just apply to faking romantic interest. Many of these methods intertwine with each other, and similar patterns can be spotted when examining them.
These tactics can be seen applied in the case of Penelope Sokolowski. Before interacting with the group, she was described as a gifted and creative child full of love. Her father said she would just create and see beauty in almost everything. However, after a couple years, the father watched her personality completely change. He said it got to the point where he barely even recognized her. Her grades dropped, and she began to stop going to school and began to self-harm. The father discovered this stemmed from the Penelope being groomed by someone linked to 764, being manipulated into abuse and suicide attempts for an online audience. Then in February 2025, just 3 days before her 16th birthday, she has been found dead from suicide.
Now why talk about them? Why does the group matter? What impact have they made on the US? With 764, it completely shifted the landscape of the virtual community and created mass caution and wariness among people with social media and gaming that is still present over 5 years later from when it started. This type of impact is not seen physically, but mentally, generating new types of fear that many need to face society. It made people apply the stranger danger concept to the virtual world and realize how poor digital safety and naivety when interacting with others online can completely destroy someone's life and well-being.
In current day, other leaders such as Alexis Aldea Chavez, who was an operator of a branch network rooted from the cult, and Priscilla Paul, who operated many exploitation groups. Thankfully, all of them were halted by the US justice system. They are being arrested and taken down, with Priscilla Paul facing life in prison in April of 2025, while Alexis Aldea Chavez is pleading guilty to his actions, facing a possible 60 years in prison, marking the downfall of the group as more truths about the group begin to surface.
The actions of 764 and its members truly show how these values and beliefs that people have don't just come out of nowhere. Though they are what shapes society, in some sort of way, society also shapes them. A main reason why Bradley Caden had started this cult was because of how he was treated by society. In society, he was bullied, labeled an outcast, so he found comfort online, causing him to grow these horrific values and beliefs we see demonstrated through the 764 cult. The story of 764 is more of a cautionary tale. It shows how easy it is in today's day and age to adopt ideas that make someone become depraved and empty, and later spread that behavior to others. Essentially, what we're trying to say is that these kinds of beliefs will never completely fade away, but through stories and examples of these organizations committing terrible things, we hope it can turn you away from becoming influenced by their actions and values.